How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer. Now, today's video, it's going to be a little bit of a loose affair. Again, this is just a one take. If I fuck up on what I'm trying to say, please excuse me. But I honestly don't have the time of day to sit here and edit and splice and put together a video with fancy footage and overlays. At least not for this. I'm not extremely passionate about this. What I'm talking about today is reviewing the game Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the reason why I'm not passionate about it doesn't have anything to do with the game itself. It's just every YouTuber under the sun has already gone out and put up their big review online about the game. And I don't want to just keep treading the same path that everybody else has done. So I wanted to sort of put a little bit of a different spin on this. It's not necessarily a review as it is my raw and real thoughts that are coming out of my head. Now, you know how I am, guys. I give it to you gun barrel straight. So, again, if you clicked on the video expecting there to be, fancy inlays of footage and all the rest of it, maybe you should just click off now. What I'm going to do here today is I'm just going to rhyme off a little bit about what I experienced in the game, what I liked, some of my dislikes, and then I'm going to leave it with my final thoughts as well. So, again, I know there's a lot of people out there that have mixed opinions on this game, and a lot of it has to do with how the media portrayed the launch of the game, and we'll get into that in just a minute. So the first thing I'll do here is want to show off beer of the day. Alexander Keith's. It's a Canadian beer. So let's get this pour started. Okay, so we'll let that sit down here. By the time it finishes settling, this video will be over. So, first things first, just get this out of the way. I have to commend CD Projekt Red for their packaging of the game. While most companies out there will give you a game without an instruction manual these days, CD Projekt Red, while I know it's not much, they gave you this nice cardboard slipcover for the physical game. And inside, they did sort of follow on their promise to provide some free goodies free of charge. And, you get some nice, almost like, I guess it would be postcards. I'm just showing this off because not everybody that did a review out there really talked about this. They just honed in on the negatives. So you got a nice full-colored map, and you got the postcards as well. And up here in Canada, I think we even got a French manual that came with the game as well. So, obviously when I opened up the game, and before you even play the game, you're getting these goodies, so it sets a good tone, right? So, with regards to the game itself, now I have a bunch of notes that I wrote down here, so please forgive me as I'm caught looking down throughout this video. I want to convey the thoughts that are in my head, and I don't want to miss anything. So, first things first, the game took me roughly 43 hours to complete. I completed the game last night. Now, the thing is the game came out, over 2 months ago now? So it took me almost 2 months to complete the game. I chose the Nomad path. There's 3 different paths. You can, like life paths, like you would call it in the game. And I chose the Nomad path. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here, when I played the game, you're immediately, at least I was taken aback by the scale of the game. And what I mean by that is when you're in Night City, as an example, and you're looking up at a building or a skyscraper, the field of depth, I know it's just a video game, but like the depth of you looking up at the building, I have never played a video game that pulled off the depth and the density like this game did. You really feel like you're looking at an actual skyscraper. You're really looking at it like, how many levels are there to this building? Can I get all the way up there? It looks like a real piece of architecture. It was really impressive the way CD Projekt Red was able to sort of convey that in the video game. Even as I play the game now, I'm oftentimes caught deer in the headlights. I stop playing the game just to admire, all these crazy pieces of architecture that are around me. This is a city that comes off as a real city. It's really a sight to behold. So, yeah, there's obviously some Blade Runner influences in this game. You know, one kind of has to wonder if CD Projekt Red would have been able to secure the licensing rights to Blade Runner if they would have just called this game Blade Runner 2049. If maybe it would have even made a difference at all, or maybe the game would have been that much more successful. So, some other notes here. Hideo Kojima, who's obviously, he needs no introduction here. He's got his own studio these days. He came up with a game on the PlayStation 4 called Death Stranding, featuring Norman Reedus. For some reason or another, I have no idea what the reasoning is behind this. He's got some huge love affair or some tie-in to this game because he makes an appearance in the game, a guest appearance. I haven't come across it yet. I think it's in one of the side quests. And not only that, when you finish the game, there's like a huge chunk of credits in the end-game credits that are devoted to Hideo Kojima. So it's really bizarre because obviously Hideo has strong ties to Sony. So to be playing this on my Xbox, it was just kind of weird. Not to mention when you see the ending credits, there's a lot of Sony mention as well. Again, I'm playing this on an Xbox. It's really bizarre. There's also an appearance by Alana Pierce from IGN. I thought that was really bizarre. This is someone who is very much a part of the gaming community, lover or hater. I'm not a fan of her whatsoever, but this in my mind compromises her integrity as a journalist. Now I know she came out with a video saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna review Cyberpunk. I'm not gonna review Cyberpunk." But it's just to me, in my eyes, she's already lost a bit of credibility being put in this game. I don't know why they put her in this game. I have no idea. Obviously, right now there's a huge push for females in the workplace to gain recognition. So I'm not suggesting that has anything to do with it. It's open to interpretation. I just think it's really odd that she's in the game. She's getting more acclaim because of it, I'm sure. Keanu Reeves, obviously, he's in the game. There was some controversy about his voice acting in the game. A lot of people thought that his lines were delivered kind of, I guess, in a dead space, if you will. There wasn't a lot of oomph to his delivery. I thought he did it just fine. I was really impressed with how they implemented Keanu Reeves into the game. No, we're already at the 8-minute mark here, so I'll try to speed things up. The game is very incredible, very immersive. I'm constantly in awe of the environments as I look around. I'm constantly stopping to enjoy the scenery. The NPC animations are quite literally insane. I'm not talking about the regular NPCs that are walking around on the street. I'm talking about the main NPCs that are a part of the quest line. Just the textures that make up these characters, it's just nothing. I've never quite seen anything like it. Red Dead Redemption 2 came close, but this is extremely impressive. Excuse me while I take a sip of my beer. An example would be at the beginning of the game when you're introduced to a guy who you befriend, and his name is Jackie. And the textures on Jackie are just impressive. The way he walks around you. Oh, I couldn't believe it. So, with that out of the way, I want to talk about a few things that sort of marred the release of this game. And I've talked about these two guys before. And if you guys, want to take a bridge to what I'm about to say here, Digital Foundry, a lot of people may or may not be aware of this website or this YouTube channel. These guys are just basically like the Motor Trend of the gaming industry. All they do is benchmark. They take games and they put them on a computer program that runs diagnostics and tests frame rates. Whoop-de-doo. These guys are what I like to call ambulance chasers. They like to create drama. They like to create drama-based narratives. And Cyberpunk is just another example of this right here. So Richard Ledbetter, or as he pronounces it, Richard Wedbetter. And we've got the other guy, John Linneman, who, for whatever reason, is a U.S. citizen who moved to Germany. I don't know. You can ask him about it. These guys were quick to hop on the Cyberpunk bandwagon, and they were quick to criticize the last generation versions of these games. They would go off on the game saying it was damn well unplayable. They would criticize the frame rates. They would say things like, oh my god, it's not running at a steady 30 frames per second on the Xbox One base console. It's only running at 25 frames per second. This game's unplayable. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Well, guess what happens when they do shit like that? They create controversy, and the next thing you know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry on YouTube is making a video talking about how much of a disaster Cyberpunk 2077 is on the last generation consoles, when that is simply not the case. The game runs acceptable. I would say it's acceptable. It's serviceable, okay? Serviceable. Yeah, there's some issues with the frame rates. Big fucking deal. Get over it. We've seen it before. GoldenEye 007 on the N64 had that issue. Perfect Dark. Grand Theft Auto 5, when it came out on the 360 and the PS3, it had the same issues. But now we're living in the age of YouTube. And again, these guys are in the business to make money. And if they can make a video that hones in on some controversy surrounding a game like Cyberpunk, they're going to do it. So those guys at Digital Foundry, those guys are fucking idiots. There, I said it. So the next thing we'll talk about here, we'll get into the likes. Actually, before I get into the likes, we'll talk about Dreamcastguy as well. I want to rant on him. So we're already at the 12-minute mark. Dreamcastguy, he claims he played the game for 60 hours in his review, and then he claims he beat it in 10. Okay, folks, it took me 42 hours to beat the game. Okay, I don't believe Dreamcast beat the game before he reviewed it, and if he did, he rushed through it. He didn't play 60 hours of it. I took my time. I played it organically the way it should be. I played some of the side missions. I played the main quest, and then I wrapped things up. I barely even scratched the surface of the open world. I hardly explored it. Again, it took me about 42 hours to complete the game. So, Dreamcastguy is a fucking idiot. You can't go on there. His review, he touched base about the glitches, but he sort of glossed over it. And then after it came to light that there was quite a few glitches in the game, Dreamcastguy posted like 10 or 11 videos after his review talking about Cyberpunk, shitting on it, throwing it under the bus, anything he could do to get clicks. So, again, don't believe anything that guy says. Who are you going to believe? Dreamcastguy, who rushed through the main storyline within 10 hours to put up a review, or someone like me that's not getting paid to review games, that could take my time and take 2 months to play this game to put this review up for you guys? Dreamcastguy, again, it's no secret this guy makes his money off of these reviews. Between ripping through the game as fast as possible, doing up a script, shooting his video, putting his overlays together, it's all just a fake production, guys. So don't believe a word that guy says. He didn't fucking play the game. And if he did, he rushed through it. And that mars the experience. And it mars the integrity of his review as well. So fuck that guy. So we'll get into the likes here. We're already at the 14-minute mark, so I'm going to try to speed things up here. The music is top-notch. Now, there is some music from the musician there, Grimes. I think that's Elon Musk's wife. I think she's Canadian. The graphics are superb. So again, Richard Ledbetter and John Linneman will have you believe otherwise, but I've never seen graphics this good in a video game aside from Red Dead Redemption 2. Even on the Xbox One, and I have the One X, the graphics are incredible, folks. Don't believe what you hear out there. Yes, they're not as good as the PC, but yes, they're incredible. I constantly caught myself looking around in awe. I never snapped so many pictures with my Xbox dashboard and uploaded my images to Twitter to show off what I was able to sort of capture. And I love photography, and it's just a blast. I can't get over how good the game looks. I've never seen, even with the base consoles not having the special lighting effects that these next-gen consoles have and the high-end PCs, I've never seen lighting effects like I saw in this game. It's just absolutely incredible. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. The controls are top notch. I didn't have any issues with the controls. Even the vehicle controls, rival any arcade racer that came out before it. They spent a lot of time with the controls and the vehicle mechanics. The story is really good. It is obviously the meat and potatoes of this game. I found during the second act, it kind of got hard to follow. It kind of got a little bit long in the tooth. I kind of kept looking at my watch. When is this ever going to end? Especially when you meet up with that NPC Pan Am. Oh my God, it really started to drag on. But yes, a very immersive game, very massive in scope. Again, the scale of the buildings rivals anything in Red Dead Redemption 2. I would go on record to say this is probably one of the best games of the 8th generation. I would put it up there with Red Dead Redemption 2. Slick production values, many holy fuck moments, a lot of set pieces, a lot of shootouts, especially the shootouts where you're in your car and your arm is hanging out the window. Just phenomenal how they pulled it off. It was incredible. Great driving mechanics. So let's talk about the dislikes. We're at the 16-minute mark here. So glitches. Yeah, the big elephant in the room, glitches. So the first 5 to 7 hours that I played this game, and again, Dreamcastguy, he only played like 10 hours, let's be honest. The first 5 to 7 hours, the glitches were barely noticeable. I actually went on record, I think I said that either on Twitter or in one of my videos. I'm like, I've hardly ran into any issues, a little hiccups here and there, hardly anything. 10 to 20 hours in, the glitches become noticeable. You're running into glitches quite often. It becomes more of a conversation piece. 30 to 40 hours in, very, very noticeable. You can see the glitches at the 30 to 40 hour mark. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking glitches in this game. Holy fuck. It's probably worse than any game Bethesda ever released, honest to God. And I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. And again, you wouldn't know this unless you put your time in. Some of the glitches I experienced, the game is way too easy. So I view that as a glitch. At one point in the game, I became utterly invincible. I was given a katana, and the katana was more powerful than any firearm in the game. And I could run into a building where there was 30, 40 people shooting at me, and I could run right past them if I wanted to and run right into the building and go right to my checkpoint, which is immersion breaking. Or I could run in there with the katana and slice them all up. Again, they're all shooting at me, and I'm taking hardly any damage. The perk system, the level up system, if you will, it's broken. I was never invested in it. As soon as I gained perks, I would immediately use them on whatever perk tree I had available just to use them up. I wasn't even reading what I was investing in. It was just absolutely ridiculous. The perks never showed themselves apparent in the game as far as enhancements to my character. There's way too much gun ammo lying around. There's way too many meta packs lying around. You could walk into any given building. You could even walk into a building where you're not welcome, or maybe you are welcome, but you would think in other games like Fallout, if you stole a meta pack off of someone's wall, they would start shooting at you. In this game, not the case. You can walk into a hotel, for God's sakes, and you can steal stuff off the fridge, off the counter. You can take whatever you want, and nobody says a damn word. Way too many weapons in the game. You can hold like 30 to 40 guns at a time, no matter how big the guns are. Again, extremely immersion breaking. And as well, there's a guy in the game, an NPC called Delmain, and this is a guy who's robotic, computerized, and throughout the world, Delmain has all these cars that he wants you to find. And when you come close or within a vicinity of one of these cars, Delmain will pop up on the screen, and he'll say, "V, one of my cars is located in the area. Please look for my car." Which is cool the first time you see it, but then it's like every 5 minutes, every time you drive anywhere, no matter where you drive, Delmain pops up. And it's like your phone rings, and you can choose to answer it or you can ignore the call. Well, guess what? Even if you ignore the call, he still pops up. "V, locate my car. V, locate my car. V, locate my car." My God. So that brings me to my next point here. Let me take a sip of my beer. How are we doing for time? 20-minute mark. Holy fuck. There's too much going on at any given time. You could be driving down Night City, and I swear to God, the Vice President of the United States, no matter how busy he is, his phone does not go off as much as V's. Every fucking 5 seconds, you're getting a text message, you're getting a phone call, you're getting the opportunity to do a side quest. And at what point is it too much? I just started ignoring everything. I shut off all the text, ignored phone call. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I love a little bit of that in a game, but for your phone to be going off 10 times while you're in the middle of a main quest and you got people trying to pull you in all kinds of directions, it's a little bit much. It's a little bit overkill. So I guess the next thing is there's too much text to read. There's too much lore. I find myself a lot of times be picking up these sort of like virtual cassette tapes, and they're like chips, if you will, memory chips, and then you pull it up and there'd be like a huge brick of text. I'm not reading that. Are you kidding me? I don't have fucking time to sit there and read that. I'm sorry. There's a lot of set dressing. So a lot of the stuff in the open world, at first glance, it looks pretty incredible until you start seeing the same stuff everywhere you go. Like you'll see a stack of garbage bags that are 3 different colors stacked up like this everywhere you go. There's one sort of curtain that hangs from doorways when you walk into buildings. At one point, I was like way out in the middle of the fucking desert on this quest, on this main quest, and I walked into this abandoned building, and there's those fucking chains again. It's like, oh my god, they're everywhere. Where else are we? Yeah, lots of glitches. Your vehicle is getting stuck on garbage bags, jittery characters. I know the word janky is thrown around quite a bit. The regular affair. Coffee cups that are floating in midair. NPCs that are, you shoot them and they're on the ground, but like their legs are behind their head, and just weird shit like that. The game froze up on me several times. I had a couple of hard crashes as well that booted me right back to the main menu, the Xbox menu actually. I had an issue where you would get out of the vehicle and you could no longer run. And the only way you could fix this was, with a lot of glitches in Cyberpunk, the only way to cure it would be go into the character menu, pull the character menu up where your perks are, and then get out of that menu and go back to the game, and it would just sort of reset everything. So if you're having that issue, try that. For whatever reason, it resets it. So I was having a serious issue with that. I did run into some slowdowns, again, mainly when you ran into very dense areas in your vehicle. The screen would like stutter or sputter for like a split second, but enough to notice. Or you run into a building again where there's like a bunch of NPCs shooting at you, and if you proactively just ran in there, yeah, things would slow down. Again, like I talked about, you could run into a building, there'd be like 40 people shooting at you, and you could literally just ignore them and run right in and get right to wherever it is you need to go and finish the main story, the main quest or the side quest. So very immersion breaking. Again, you get through Act 1, a lot of fun. You get to Act 2 and you reach this NPC called Pan Am, and it turns into a real slog fest. At that point there, I just wanted to finish the main campaign. I just wanted to get on with it so I could explore the open world. So that's my next thing I wanted to talk about. I constantly felt like I was tied down by the main quest. I wanted to explore the open world, but I always felt like there was this sense of urgency to finish the main quest. And I get it, maybe that was CD Projekt Red's whole idea behind it, but I don't know, man. I kid you guys not, I put 43 hours into the game, and I've yet to really explore the open world. I was always, for the most part, dealing with the main quest. The cops are no threat. You can easily drive off and run away from them. You can't really customize your character after you start the game. You can't give them a new haircut. You can't really, as far as I'm aware, give them new tattoos and things like that, facial hair. After you beat the game, I was hoping that it would continue on from the last mission and then you could work away at the game, kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5. No. In this game, after you beat the last mission, after you beat the game, you have the option to go back, start tackling all the other side missions and collecting cars, if you will. I don't know. To me, I didn't really like that. I get it. Maybe a lot of the side missions don't make sense after you beat the game, so that's why you had to go sort of forward and reverse. So, a little bit of a spoiler alert here. The two strongest characters in the game are killed off almost at the beginning. Dexter Deshawn and Jackie Wells, who I thought played incredible characters in the game. They were killed off right away. So that I didn't like that at all. Let's see here. The upgrades, the free upgrade for the game that you get, you can play it on your PS5 or your Xbox Series X. I think that's warranted. I think CD Projekt Red knew well in advance that this game was pretty broken, and that was sort of something they were willing to give away to sort of stop the bleeding, if you will. So yeah, I finished the game, but it feels like I've only just begun. I feel like I'm now unchained from the main quest line, and now I feel like I can actually go out there and enjoy the open world without having a boa constrictor around my neck, always wanting to finish that main quest. I'm more interested in exploring the open world than anything else. It is a shame about how this release all went down. The news regurgitators latched onto this story and ran with it, and they caused a lot of drama. And I've been guilty of it too. I posted a couple initial videos on Cyberpunk and the troubled launch, and this really just amplified the issues for the clickbait videos and the drama. So that's exactly what it is. These channels out there, if they only made videos on the positives, they wouldn't get a lot of views. If they make a lot of videos on the negatives, like CD Projekt Red's botched release of Cyberpunk, that's what makes the world go round. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not. It could end up being one of the best games of all time once it's fully patched. I think CD Projekt should have released the game or announced it as in beta form, or at least been proactive in saying, listen, this game is not done. This game is going to take years to patch, and I think it would have been more well received. And that's just it. I don't think these hot fixes that are coming out, people are expecting the game to be patched by the end of the year. Play the game and you'll understand. I don't think this is a game that could be patched over the next year. I think it could take several years. And I think this game suffered the same fate as Duke Nukem Forever, or even Chinese Democracy, the album by Guns N' Roses that took over 15 years to come out. And that is, at what point do the executives have to step in and say, listen, we're just going to release this in its current state, and you guys can fix it as you go along? Because honestly, and I don't think anyone else has really said this, if management didn't step in and force the game to be released, this game may never have been released. This game may not have been released for another 5 years. And then at what point, how can you sell a game that's being touted as an Xbox One and a PS4 game 5 years from now? So I think they had no choice. I think they had to release the game, broken or not. You can't just sit on this game. It has to come out. So I think that's the problem. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that. It's the same thing that happened with Chinese Democracy. Geffen Records eventually stepped in and pulled it from Axl Rose and said, listen, it's got to come out. We got to make back all this money we've put into it. And same goes with Duke Nukem Forever, right? So the game is a technical marvel. I'm constantly appreciating the scenery. I'm not like Dreamcastguy where I'm just rushing to get the game completed so I can put out a review. I took my time with it, guys. I spent over 43 hours in 2 months taking my time, taking it all in, the good and the bad, so I could at least put this video today and you guys could hear it from the horse's mouth. Somebody who truly played the game. I would highly recommend it. And if the game is on sale right now for, what is it, $29.99 USD, you're basically getting the game for free at that point, because it's an incredible game, guys. Yes, it's got some glitches. Yes, it will be patched, but it was a memorable experience. And again, I put it right up here, Cyberpunk right up here with Red Dead Redemption 2 as the 2 best games of the 8th generation. So I'm going to leave it there right at the half-hour mark. Don't think I've ever put a video out that long before. But I wanted to give it to you gun barrel straight. I wanted to tell it how it is. I know not a lot of people are going to watch this video. I don't have a huge channel, but I'm hoping the people that do watch my video are the people that are more interested in my opinion than someone like Dreamcastguy. So anyways, guys, this came in the mail today. Doom 2016 for the Xbox. So this is the next game I'm going to play. I'm going to sort of walk away from Cyberpunk for a bit, let some more updates come out before I work on the side quest that I largely ignored. But for now, I'll probably put this on tonight. So again, thanks so much for watching. I know this is a long video. We're already at the 31 minute mark. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.